Alright, so last night was the 96 Academy Awards, and let me tell you, I thought this was one of the best and funniest award shows that I've ever seen. And even like it was like, it felt like a party and then like a celebrating awards for movies. And plus I did enjoy the highlights, even with the nominees that won, even with the ones that lost, even with the ones that I deserved to win an Oscar, especially with Jimmy Kimmel as the host, and with just so much more to discuss as well. And so in this video, this will be my official recap and breakdown for everything that happened during the Oscars, and going over the nominees and the winners, and talking about the funniest highlights I thought were funny, and just so much more that we can look forward to in the future as well. And so if you're new here, then be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future vids. And so let's just hop into it. And now, starting off from when the ceremony opened, when Jimmy Kimmel got on stage to do his monologue for his opening speech, and then one of the things that he put in a speech, that he made jokes about Robert Downey Jr., about Barbie and Oppenheimer, and even well those jokes. And plus, we seen Jimmy Kimmel do all his jokes as he's like done on his late night show, and even with him just doing for what he does best. Because we all know Jimmy Kimmel, he's pretty funny. He tells various jokes, and even with him just being a host again, even after he hosted last year's Oscars, and with him hosting again, I thought it was pretty unusual. Plus it was alright, and plus I liked how he opened up the awards ceremony, but just to open up with the jokes that he always does. And now, starting here with the first category for Best Supporting Actress, and like even with well these women that were nominated for an Oscar, and that's with Davine Joy Randolph and Emily Blunt and Daniela Brooks and so much more, and then of who the winner was. It was actually a Davine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers, and from what I thought of her performance in that movie, I thought she was amazing, and that she played a side character along with Paul Giamatti, and I thought The Holdovers was a great movie, and I thought she deserved to win. But even with Emily Blunt, I could have won her first Oscar, but you know how always is. But even with her character in The Holdovers, that had a very touching story, and just even with The Holdovers movie, and in general with Paul Giamatti as the main lead, and I thought it was amazing. It had good storytelling, and it had a good good feel when it was back in the 70s with the audio, that I felt that way. But even with Davine Joy Randolph, definitely deserved to win an Oscar. Even with her speech that was so emotional when she got on stage to accept her award, her Oscar, and I thought it was a very deserved, definite win. And now, with the next category to go over is with Best Animated Feature, and even the nominees that include The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And even with the winner of that category was The Boy and the Heron, and even with that film, which I haven't seen, especially it's an anime which I'm not a fan of, but even with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, that was definitely robbed of an Oscar. Plus, I love the score. I love the Miles Morales' story. I thought it was the best Spider-Man animated comic book movie of all time, and like that dominated the box office during the summer movie season. But even with The Boy and the Heron, I think it was a deserved win for sure. But even with Across the Spider-Verse, I definitely deserved a win as well. Plus, it had some of the best animation that I have ever seen. Plus, it took like years of work just to get the animation in, and I thought that movie deserved it. Plus, it had like a beautiful art, and it told Miles' story arc as Spider-Man pretty well, and even a lot of chemistry between Miles and Gwen, and just even with the entire storytelling that was a part of Across the Spider-Verse, I thought it was. It definitely did. It deserved to win, but it was robbed. But even with The Boy and the Heron, but I'm pretty sure they deserve to win as well. But it was a clear choice. When the next category to go over is best costume design, and even with one of the highlights that was in this is with John Cena himself that was on stage naked with the envelope that says costume design and covering himself up. And even though I can't show the image up on screen, but you see it online on social media. But even with him just doing this kind of thing on stage, it kind of felt like a non-professional. It didn't feel like it was appropriate enough for award season, but hey, like it's just stuff like people like to do that nowadays. Just do like a random stuff like during an award ceremony, and even the well-known nominees that include Barbie, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Napoleon, and Killers of the Flower Moon, and when the winner of that was Poor Things, and even well the other nominees, plus with Barbie that had some of the sick costume design I've ever seen with Barbie and Ken. I liked all of the costumes from Barbie, especially with Killers of the Flower Moon. I thought it was good too, but even with Poor Things, I think people could consider that to be a good movie to be nominated for an Oscar, especially with best costume design, and I think that probably deserved a win as well. But even with John Cena on stage naked, I thought it was the most definite highlight at the entire show. And now, what the next category to go over is Best Film and Editing, and what the nominees that include Oppenheimer, The Holdovers, Poor Things, and Killers of the Flower Moon, and Anatomy of the Fall. And what the winner of that was Oppenheimer, and I think that definitely deserved to win an Oscar for the best editing. But even with the entire film itself, that was shot visually, specifically for IMAX, and with Christopher Nolan and his vision that I want to fulfill for Oppenheimer, and it looked gorgeous to see in IMAX. And plus, I think it was definitely fun to see in like a 70mm IMAX. And plus, it was like fast paced, even for a 3 hour movie that was about the creation of the atomic bomb, and that was like a biopic. But even with the score and with the editing and everything that went into this brilliant, beautifully crafted movie with Cillian Murphy, and just with fulfilling of that with Nolan, I thought it was a definite deserved win. And now, what the next category to go over is Best Visual Effects, and those were Godzilla Minus One, the creator of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Mission Impossible and Dead Reckoning. And when the winner of that was Godzilla Minus One, and I thought this was so well deserving. And plus, with Godzilla Minus One, that was one of the best Godzilla films ever made. It was like a Japanese movie. That was an extreme low budget movie. I did big at the box office. And plus, I mean, I liked all the visual effects, all the VFX, and everything that went into this beautiful, crafted, mind-blowing, monstrous, destructive movie. And even with Godzilla, that was so terrifying. It made him look to be an actual monster too. And there's even with the entire movie itself, it felt like it was amazing. And the fact that it was low budget in Japan, that's what made it a well-deserved movie. And plus, we're already getting a sequel for it. I mean, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure with Godzilla Minus One, it definitely deserved that Oscar. And now, with the next one to go over is Best Adapted Screenplay, and that is for American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, The Zone of Interest, and Poor Things. And the winner of that category that's for American Fiction, and I thought it definitely deserved to win. And plus, with Jeffrey Wright, who I thought is a great actor, I'm pretty sure he did great in this. Plus, he with American Fiction, which everyone saw, I thought like this was like a great movie. And plus, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was a great movie based on the trailers. But even with Jeffrey Wright, who everyone thinks put like a great performance, and everyone said American Fiction was like a definitely good movie, which I think it definitely deserved a win. But even out of all the nominations, and I think Oppenheimer definitely deserved a win. And plus, it had the most greatest screenplay I've ever seen, and everything that went into Oppenheimer, that was great. But even with American Fiction, I kind of like it went for that Oscar. And now, what the next one to go over is Best Cinematography, and that was including Oppenheimer, Maestro, Poor Things, and Killers of the Flower Moon, and with the winner of that was Oppenheimer. And I think that definitely deserved to win, because even with the cinematography and everything that went into making Oppenheimer make it to be one of the best movies of the year, I thought it was amazing, and with all those visual shots and everything that went into it, I thought it was a definite deserved, and the cinematography and how it was shot. I thought it was gorgeous, and everything that went into it, and I just definitely enjoyed. And Oppenheimer definitely deserved to win for best cinematography. And now, with the next one to go over is Best Production Design, and that included Barbie, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Poor Things. And with Poor Things, that won that category, and that won the Oscar for Best Production Design. And everyone thought that with Poor Things that was a good movie. But even with Barbie and the way that they designed Barbie Land, and that has some of the best production set pieces I've ever seen, especially with Oppenheimer, like that was set like in like the early 40s with that biopic. That was an extremely good movie, and even Killers on the Flower Moon, that had some good set pieces. But I think Barbie definitely deserves that win. But even that with the Poor Things, I thought it was fair that it won Best Production Design. But I think it was a good movie, and I think that won the Oscar. And now, with the next one to go over is Best Sound, and that included The Zone of Interest, Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, and the creator and the winner of that category was The Zone of Interest. And now, even with that win for that movie, I thought like from the trailers and the marketing, it looked pretty good. But even like with Oppenheimer, that has some of the best sound design I have ever seen, and especially as I saw it in IMAX, and even that it was so visually gorgeous and stunning in IMAX. It was just a very good movie. But even with the creator that had some of the good sound design, but even though it was underrated and didn't do that well at the box office, but even with The Zone of Interest, I'm pretty sure that seemed fair, but I think it definitely deserved to go to Oppenheimer. But even with The Zone of Interest, that was a definite fair to take home that award. And now, what the next one to go over is Best Original Song, and those nominees included What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish, and I'm Just Ken Performed by Ryan Gosling, and with the clear winner of that was What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish, and I thought that was a well-deserved song, and I definitely deserved a winner, because even with that song that was from Barbie towards the end of the movie, when Barbie was like having visions, and even that was all everything of a montage, and with the Billie Eilish's voice of what she brought to that song, it was incredible. It was extremely touching. Especially with that song that definitely represented what the film was about empowering women of who they wanted to be. But even with I'm Just Ken, and that was an Oscar nominated song, which I'm gonna get to in like the next point in this video. But even with that song, what was I made for? I thought it definitely deserved to have that Oscar, and I'm so happy for that song, and even with Billie Eilish. And now the next highlight that I definitely want to touch upon here, out of any award season show, is with I'm Just Ken performed by Ryan Gosling, and this is the first time ever in decades that he's performed something on stage, and with him like singing that song of an Oscar nominated song from Barbie, I thought it was amazing. He performed it on stage with the entire cast, with Simu Liu and Kingsley Benadir, and even with the way that he performed it, it was so spectacular, and even with Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig that like joined in on the song. Even we saw Ryan Gosling just being all cool and casual, and seeing that song on stage, being proud. And I think like that was an Oscar nominated song, and I thought it was the best and definite highlight of the award show. And I think Ryan Gosling is definitely a great actor, also a great performer as well. And now, with the next category, I'm going over the nominees for Best Supporting Actor, and those include Robert Downey Jr., Robert De Niro, Jeffrey Wright, Mark Ruffalo, and even Sterling K. Brown. And with the winner of that was Robert Downey Jr. And I thought this was a definitely well deserved, because even with Robert Downey Jr., like RDJ, the man that we all know and love as Iron Man from the MCU, and even with his incredible performance, and Oppenheimer was definitely fantastic, and he definitely deserved this, especially for his first Oscar, especially being in Tropic Thunder, and even out of his entire career. I think Robert Downey definitely deserved his first Oscar, and I'm definitely glad that he did. And now that we have Iron Man now, who has definitely won his first Oscar, and I'm so happy for him, and I hope he continues like down the line, and I'm happy that Iron Man as an Oscar winner. And now, with saving the best for last, and with the nominees for Best Actor in that category is with Cillian Murphy, Coleman Domingo, Paul Giamatti, Bradley Cooper, and more. And with the clear winner of that was Cillian Murphy. And I thought it was so deserved that he won his first Oscar, because with his performance and Oppenheimer was anything out of his entire career-wise, I thought it was fantastic. And with the way that he delivered that performance as Robert J. Oppenheimer in that biopic about the creation of the atomic bomb, it was incredible. He definitely deserved it, and even out of his entire performances. Now we have Cillian Murphy, who is now a first-time Oscar winner. I'm just so happy. I say that, especially for like the last 30 minutes of the award show. With the next one to go over is Best Director, and with the clear winner of that was Christopher Nolan, and it was definitely deserved, especially for what he did with Oppenheimer, especially for the way that he shot it in IMAX, and even for who presented the award, and that's with Steven Spielberg. And we saw Spielberg and Nolan hugging it out, one of the most iconic directors of all time. I mean, the GOATs and the man, the myth, the legend so much. And even for the way that he gave out his speech, and with the way that he talked about movies in his speech, it was endearing. It was so incredible, and that's why he is Christopher Nolan, because he definitely makes the most well-deserved films, especially from the Dark Knight trilogy, and with Oppenheimer, and even with Interstellar, and even Nolan, who's now a first-time Oscar winner, and it was definitely deserved, and I applaud, and bravo to Nolan for bringing us Oppenheimer, and it was definitely deserved for him to win. And now, with the next one, and that's for Best Actress, and with those nominees that included Emma Stone, Lily Gladstone, and all the others, and even with the winner of that was Emma Stone, and even though she won like I think like 2 Oscars, but even with Lily Gladstone, that was robbed of that Oscar win, and plus she put on a fantastic performance in Killers of the Flower Moon. She would have been the first Native American woman to win an Oscar, but I think with Emma Stone, I think everyone's saying that her performance in Poor Things was so amazing. It was incredible, and even for the way that she did her acceptance speech when she got her award, and I thought it was beautiful, and I applaud. I'm happy for Emma Stone that she won an Oscar, but even with Lily Gladstone, and I did brilliantly in Kills on the Flower Moon, and let's face it, I mean, I think with that film, I don't think it was destined to win an Oscar, but it was definitely a good movie, a good 3.5-hour movie from Martin Scorsese. But even with Lily Gladstone, that definitely deserved to win, but even it was fair that it went to Emma Stone, and I applaud her for that. And now, with the last category that was presented with the last award for the night was for Best Picture. And even with the person that presented all the nominees and announced that the winner for that was Al Pacino, one of the most iconic actors of all time. And even that we see that he's basically old, and even with the way that he presented the winner and winners for Oppenheimer, but even with the way that he presented it was like so lame and just like so awkward. It felt like so out of place with the way that he announced it, without like he was trying to like rush the thing and trying to end it. But even with Oppenheimer, that definitely deserved to win Best Picture, and plus with Oppenheimer that took home all the awards, it won like 7 Oscars, and even that we all predicted it to win, and it was definitely deserved for Oppenheimer, for Cillian Murphy, Christopher Nolan, and the entire cast and everyone involved. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed the film, and plus I'm gonna rewatching Oppenheimer just over and over and over, and just see its brilliant picture, and for the way that it really delivered that score, and it really deserved to win Best Picture. And for my final thoughts on all the nominees and all the winners and and I think I'm happy for the winners, even and that sucks for the ones and that like didn't win an Oscar. I mean, like those deserve to win, but you know. I think it's better like next year, but if even like well, the highlights that I did enjoy is with John Cena and Gosling performing "I'm Just Ken." I thought it was one of the most iconic performances and one of the most highlights that I'll ever cherish for forever, especially on award season night. And even with the opening monologue from Kimmel, I thought it was funny, and even with him having that as like the host as he did last year with Jimmy Kimmel, I thought it was great. But even with the entire award show, I thought it was good. It was all right, but it still definitely felt like a celebration of movies and announcing winners and nominations and so much more. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this year's Oscars, and I can't wait for the next one as well. And so that's where we have first video, and just let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, and what are your thoughts on this year's Academy Awards, and what are your thoughts on all the nominees and all the winners, and just let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and turn on notifications about future videos. Also follow all my social media links down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.